Hi, my name is Geeta Verma and I'm the head of school at Learners International School, Greater Noida. The beauty about a school is the two guiding principles, which is it has a culture of excellence and it's also a culture of caring. And when I talk about the culture of excellence and the culture of caring at Learners International School, what comes into focus is the whole idea of leadership. So, in today's podcast, I want to talk about three aspects of leadership. One is, of course, I want to take you through a very brief history of how the definition of what leadership has evolved over the years. Second, some kinds of leaderships that exist today in terms of the styles of leadership, which I'm sure you all know, but just a refresher. And last but not the least, some advice and something about the wake up calls that a leader needs to, know. And I can add my personal anecdotes to that. So here we go. I think the whole idea about leaders being different from managers started very early in the 1840s. At that time, we had the Great Man Theory. So if you have somebody like, say, Mahatma Gandhi or Napoleon or Julius Caesar, well, what they said was that leaders are born, they're not made. And it's something that is inherent. You can't create a leader. Then came the 1930s and the 1940s, and then we started looking at leadership as something which is trait driven. So you would have the traits, and that's what would make you a great leader, but it could also be that those traits can be nurtured. Then came the whole idea of the situational model of leadership, which talked about, it really depends upon the leader and how is it doing in terms of the situation that he or she is in. So it was very environmental based. And now when we look at leadership today, there are all kinds of models. And they may be a mix of all of these models. So let me take you through a few. Something that I've also experienced. Probably my parents' generation, I'm talking about the 60s and the 70s, our parents mostly faced the authoritative type of leadership, which, as the Harvard Business Review says, is not a bad kind of leadership because, authoritative has its own connotations. And those connotations are, it's, my way or the highway. But sometimes for corporations or organizations which are set, the procedures are clear, everything is fine. That kind of leadership style really works. So if you are a new school, maybe not. But if you're established, then all you need to look at your authoritative leader and you just need to follow him. Then we have a kind of a leader which is a delegative leader. Now, this is a very laissez-faire model. So it's the complete opposite of authoritative leadership. So here a leader lets his team be. They can do what they want. And that has a danger because a leader is meant to give structure, is meant to give direction. So delegative leadership may work very well if you have a great team. If you have somebody who knows the job, it's a competent team, then the delegative form of leadership really works. Next, which is the newest form these days that we look at, which is transformative and transactional. So transformative leadership is what is really the keyword these days, which is where the leader is there to motivate, to give a direction, to create passion, to evoke a sense of purpose. And that kind of leadership really works well when we have a new startup or a new organization, because the leader has to sort of get everybody going. So that really works very well in a new setup. Like I said, whether it is authoritative or delegative or transformational, it really depends on the context in which this particular leadership can be applied. Another very important leadership style, and now I come to the leadership style that I vouch for and believe, and that is called the servant leadership style. So here what we have is that the team is not in service of you, you are in service of the team. So there is an underpinning and an underlying sense of compassion that you need to have. There is also an underlying sense of care. You do not see your teachers as somebody just performing duties, but you also see them as human beings with personal lives. And you basically work together as a unity. There is a unitedness and there is a unity where you work together towards a common goal. So that was about, the theories of leadership in brief, and of course, the kinds of leadership. I'm sure some of you are already being able to identify. Having said that, You cannot label and bracket yourselves into a kind that, I'm an authoritative or I'm a delegative. Sometimes you may fluidly shift your leadership style depending on your team, depending on the context, depending on the area, depending on the region, all of that. And then comes a very, very common point. These are what I call the 12 wake up calls that every leader needs to hear. This is an informative graphic poster which is very common and it's being very popular these days on X, formerly Twitter, and of course Facebook. But somehow it resonated beautifully with me. Now, this advice is not coming from me, from me saying, I've reached there and done that. It's just something I'm sharing, which I feel every leader needs to hear. So, number one, if your team's failing, look into the mirror. You are the problem. Self-awareness is a very key component of leadership. We tend to deflect blame. We tend to say, oh, I've got a rotten team. But the truth is, the team is not rotten. You need to take a quick check and see who's to blame. It's usually you as the leader. The second one says, if you're not fit, if you cannot handle criticism, you're not fit to lead. Normally, people like yes people in their team, but then how do you grow? How do you make changes? How do you transform your school or your organization? So, as a leader, to be able to handle criticism is, I think, one of the biggest wake-up calls. Encourage dissent. Encourage people speaking out. Encourage discussion and dialogue. The final decision may be yours, but encourage dissent. Third, your title makes you a manager. So whether you are a CEO or a COO or a head of school or a director or a principal or even mid-level coordinator, remember it's a title. What makes it shift from manager to being a leader is your team. And you all have to see each other as a part of a team. And you're only as good as your last week member. So empower them, because that's what will take you away from a manager to a leader. Fourth, don't preach teamwork and play favorites. Collapse your professional and personal and uncollapse it then and say, okay, I'm addressing the practice, not the person. And don't have biases and play favorites. That's hypocritical. And that's not what leaders are supposed to do. So that's one of the major wake-up calls a leader needs to hear. Fifth, stop micromanaging. If you don't trust your team, who will they trust? And why should they trust you? So delegate, do not micromanage, or delegate when there is a need to, or micromanage when there is a need to. But trust is the core of teamwork and collaboration and success. Sixth, if you're not developing your team, you're diminishing them. Step up or don't be a leader. One of your major role is to create more leaders. So you need to empower them, give them voice, give them agency, and give them a chance to make decisions. You can step in when they ask you or they need you, but do create more leaders. That's the most successful job. I remember an anecdote where somebody said that, if you're away from your organization and they don't need you, that's a job well done. You are a leader because you've created more leaders. Seventh, if your team is afraid to speak up, you have failed as a leader. A leader has to encourage voice, has to encourage choice, and has to encourage agency. Eighth, if you're not accountable, you're not credible. One of the most difficult things human beings find to do is accept our faults. But how do you expect your team to accept that they've done wrong if you are not going to own up to your mistakes? It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be human. It's okay to say, I made a mistake. Embrace failure. Make new mistakes. But voice them. You'll come across as someone who's human. You'll make a human to human connection and you'll encourage them also, rather than surreptitiously, putting away things under the carpet or brushing or going into this loop of blame and deflection. So quickly you can solve a problem if you just own up your mistake and say, yeah, I've done it. Okay, it's a safe space. I'm forgiven. And let's move on with the solution in hand. Ninth, don't just set the pace, set the standard. Excellence is contagious. Keep a high standard and a high benchmark. Don't lower those. Let me tell you, your team will rise to it. 11th, if your actions don't inspire, your words won't. This is something I swear by, what I call walking the talk. Your actions speak louder than your words. You cannot tell your team members who work for you to come on time when you yourself late. You cannot pull up anybody for not meeting deadlines that you haven't met. So you are the role model. They're looking at you, even when you think they're not looking, and they're seeing, are those standards and benchmarks being actually enacted by my leader? That's when you become a true leader. And last but not the least, a leader takes the blame and shares the fame. So remember, when it is about you as a leader, the buck stops at you. Do not deflect and say, it's this one's fault. Just say, it's my fault. That is what a leader does. A bigger, better person, because you are in that leadership position. They're all following your, whatever, intentions you have or whatever directions you're giving them. So take the blame. And when it is about getting accolades and positivity and all the fame, then don't stand and say, it's all my doing. And that is the time when you get your team together and say, let's share the fame. So that was about leadership, right from, the theories and the kinds, and finally the 12 wake-up calls. I do not know whom to give credit for this particular graphic image, but it is not mine originally. It was something I found on X, Twitter, and I just thought I'll spread it out here because as a written image, it's making lots of waves. I hope as leaders, wherever you are, some of these wake-up calls actually do work for you and they bring a difference in your leadership style starting now. Thank you.